Okay, so a curve has equation y is equals to 3 plus 12 upon 2 minus x. Find the equation of the tangent to the curve at the point where the curve crosses the x-axis. In order to make the equation of any straight line, tangent is a straight line. Tangent is a straight line. So in order to make the equation of a straight line, we need two things. What two things do we need? Gradient and any point on the line. So how do we find the point on the line? हमें पता है कि एक particular point पे tangent है. At which point is the tangent at x-axis? That means that x-axis y is. So let me say that the coordinates of that particular point are x comma 0. Plug in 0 in place of y and solve to get your x. 3 plus 12 upon 2 minus x. So the minus 3 is equals to 12 upon 2 minus x. Minus 3, 2 minus x is equals to 12. 2 minus x is equals to minus 4. Minus x is equals to minus 6. And x is equals to 6. So the point that I will use to make the equation of this line is 6 comma 0. Now the other thing that I need is the gradient. How do I find the gradient? We have 4 methods of finding the gradient. But when we are finding the gradient of a tangent or a normal to a curve, we use differentiation. So before differentiating, let's simplify this expression so that we can differentiate it. Now, can we differentiate the expression?
Yes.
So dy by dx is 3. The derivative of 3 is 0. Then minus 1.
12 upon 2 minus x.
Minus 1 will multiply. That will make it minus 12. 2 minus x. The power will become minus 2. And the derivative of the bracket, which is negative 1, will also multiply. So dy by dx, just to simplify, will become 12 upon 2 minus x whole squared. Now, if I plug in the value of 6, I will get the gradient of curve or gradient of tangent at this point. So okay, I will directly say gradient of tangent is found 12 upon 2 minus 6 whole square. Even in O-level mathematics, when we had to find the gradient of a curve at any point, what did we do? What did we say कि उस point का जो gradient है, वो उस point से गुजरती हुई tangent के gradient के बराबर है. That is what we did in O-level mathematics, right? अगर curve के किसी point का gradient निकालना होता था, what did we do? We drew a tangent, we found the gradient of the tangent, and we said कि इस point का भी यही gradient है. So curve के किसी भी point का gradient हो या उस point से गुजरती हुई, both mean the same thing. So उस particular point पे हमने निकाल लिया. What is the gradient of tangent? 3 upon 4 करो. If you are getting any other value, let me know. Y minus y1 is equals to m x minus x1.
हमने चेंज इन y को तो ले ही कर लिया और फिर चेंज
dy by dx होता क्या है? ये तो ऑटोमेटिकली दिस इज अ ग्रेडियंट, दिस इज अ ग्रेडियंट फंक्शन. इसमें आप x की वैल्यू डालेंगे तो चेंज इन y ओवर चेंज इन x आएगा. So आप पूछते हैं at which particular point do we need the gradient for? We need the gradient when x is 6. X को 6 plug in किया, and this is the equation of the tangent. The question has told us that the rate of change of x. How can we write it as a derivative? Again, in these kinds of questions, I urge students to make the data rather than reading the question again and again and again. So what is the question provided us with? तो क्या है? What is 0.04 units per second? du, u कहाँ से आ गया इसमें? सवाल पढ़ो. सिर्फ न्यूमेरिकल वैल्यू और उसके अतराफ के अलावा भी देयर इज सो मच इंग्लिश रिटन. सवाल पढ़ने में क्या जा रहा है? पूरा पढ़ने. व्हाट इज बॉदरिंग यू पीपल? व्हाई आर यू नॉट रीडिंग द एंटायर क्वेश्चन? फिर प्रॉब्लम है, फिर प्रॉब्लम है. इंग्लिश नहीं पढ़नी आती है. सारा इल्जाम मैथ्स को. कहाँ लिखा हुआ है ये? क्या चीज इंक्रीज हो रही है? क्या चीज इंक्रीज हो रही है? एक्स. सो और उसका रेट दिया हुआ है. सो व्हाट इज द रेट ऑफ चेंज ऑफ एक्स? यस. एंड व्हाट डू वी कॉल इट? ये नहीं समझ आ रहा शायद. Because we read the question. क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है dy by dt निकालो. If you are unable to comprehend it, the mistake lies in your English comprehension. Maths has got nothing to do with this. This is the question, right? The entire two lines summarized with some data so that we don't have to constantly go back to reading the question again and again and again and again and again. Sir, क्या दिया हुआ था, क्या था, नहीं पता था. This is the question, right? They have given us one derivative and they have asked us for the other. How do we do that? नहीं, हम एक से दूसरा तो नहीं निकालते chain rule में. What do we do in chain rule? दो होते हैं, we have two derivatives and we find the third one. So पहले जो निकालना होता है मैं कहता हूँ we already have two derivatives. ये निकालना है. Which one has a dy? We have two derivatives. एक ये वाला derivative and another derivative is dy by dx. We have these two derivatives. So which one has a dy? dy upon dx into dx over dt. You can verify कि अगर मैं dx cancel कर लूँ right and left side से. So we have made the right chain rule. हम cancel कर नहीं रहे, but just to help us verify. So dy by dt is, what is dy by dx? 2 minus x का whole square into 0.04. And what is the value of x that we are supposed to plug in? 4. Tell me what is dy by dt? Square 4, 3, 3. क्या हुआ? If we were to find the surface area of this hollow circular cylinder, the question is specifying that it is open at one end. So how many surfaces does it have? 2. If it is open at one end, there are two surfaces. One is a circle which is pi r square, and the other is a curved surface which is 2 pi rh. Question has already told us that this is 192 pi. एक इक्वेशन हमने डेवलप कर ली जिसमें this which is an equation relating r and h. Eventually we would want to develop an equation for volume. If we were to find the volume of the cylinder, that would have been pi r square h. We already have the equation for volume. But what is the difference between the equation that we have and the equation that the question wants us to make? What is the difference? हमारी volume की equation and the one that the question wants us to make eventually. हाँ, ये हमने बना ली volume. Very good. We need to replace this h क्योंकि we needed the equation of the volume only in terms of r. एक सिंगल वेरिएबल से लिंक करना चाहते हैं हम. ओके, पाई को पहले हमने कॉमन लेके 192 उसको सब्जेक्ट बनाना 192. चलो दिखा देते हैं. ये भी पाई इज इक्वल्स टू पाई कॉमन लिया r square plus 2rh. Pi and pi cancel. 192 is r square plus 2rh. 192 minus r square is 2rh. And 192 minus r square upon 2r is equals to h. बिल्कुल ये वाला काम करेंगे हम. वॉल्यूम में h की जगह पाई r square and then 192 minus r square upon 2r. Wrong.
अभी जो है आर स्क्वायर
तो हाफ पाई बाहर लिख देते हैं एंड एक r बचेगा. वन ऑफ दीज आर कैंसल्ड विद दिस r और उस r को अंदर मल्टीप्लाई कर देते हैं because the question wants us this way 192r minus r cube. R can vary. So now they are telling us that R is a variable. Find the value of R for which V has a stationary value. At stationary value, what do we say? Minimum, maximum दोनों are stationary value. So क्या होता है उस पे? Gradient is 0. Curve के perspective से gradient is 0. And calculus के general perspective से हम कहते हैं कि at stationary point the derivative is 0. तो पहले derivative निकालना तो पड़ेगा ना उसके लिए. बिल्कुल यू आर राइट, डेरिवेटिव भी कर्व अगर हो तो ग्रेडियंट है ना, कर्व बनाए नहीं, दे हैव नॉट प्लॉटेड एन इक्वेशन फॉर वी एंड आर, अगर बनाते तो कर्व की बिल्कुल यू आर राइट इसी तरह होता, हाफ पाई को पहले मल्टीप्लाई कर दो, लेट्स एक्सपैंड सो देन वी कैन डिफरेंशिएट, क्या बनेगा, हाफ पाई मल्टीप्लाई करो पहले से, एक्सपैंड द ब्रैकेट ताकि तुम लोगों की डिफरेंशिएशन थोड़ी आसान हो जाए, वैसे वी कैन डिफरेंशिएट दिस वे एज वेल बट just to make things easier for you people. हाँ ना, करो पहले इसको 192 से, what do you get? पहले इसको करो, everyone will not be able to do this. 96 pi r minus half pi r cube. Now dv upon dr is 96 pi minus 3 into half pi r square. So the derivative is dv upon dr is 96 pi minus 3 upon 2 pi r square. Now at stationary point the derivative is 0, 96 pi minus 3 over 2 pi r square. 3 over 2 pi r square is equals to 96 pi. Pi and pi cancelled out, 96 into 2, 192, तो r square is 192 upon 3. r की वैल्यू क्या आ रही है, find the value of r. The value of r is 8. क्वेश्चन पढ़ लिया करो, समटाइम्स इट आस्क्स द स्टेशनरी वैल्यू ऑफ v, सो ये r की वैल्यू निकाल के फिर v में प्लग इन करनी पड़ती है, बट द क्वेश्चन इज आस्किंग फाइंड द वैल्यू ऑफ r, दैट्स इट. What about the second part? How do we figure out that if the nature is minimum or maximum? Derivative से nature पता चलती है. चलिए derivative, how do we find the nature? Double derivatives. Very good. We find the nature by differentiating the derivative again, which is called the double derivative. So d square v over dr square. 96 pi का derivative 0 हो गया, -2 मल्टीप्लाई होगा 3 over 2 pi r से. So the double derivative is -3 pi r. तो इसके अंदर वेरी गुड, डी स्क्वायर वी ओवर डी आर स्क्वायर इज -3 पाई, ऐसे भी बता सकते हो बट 8 डाल दो, ये वैल्यू आ गई -24 पाई विच इज लेस देन 0. सो द स्टेशनरी वैल्यू ऑफ v is a, okay, we also have to find the stationary value. How do we find the stationary value? V is 96 pi into 8 minus half pi into 8 का क्यूब. बताओ क्या आ रही है v की स्टेशनरी वैल्यू? So the stationary value of v, which is 512 pi, is a maximum. Is this clear? The derivative is already provided in this question, and they have given us a point P which is 1,5, and it is a point on the curve. The normal to the curve at P crosses the x-axis at Q. Find the coordinates of Q. So first we would want to find the equation of the normal. Normal is again a straight line.
Yes.
Which is perpendicular to the point, right? So first we'll find the gradient of the point at P, or I can say M at P. Gradient at P. How do I find the gradient at P? 12 upon 2 into 1 plus 1 squared. Derivative में I plug in the values. What do I get? 3 का square, 16, 3 over 4. This is the gradient at P. Or I can also say that this is the gradient of tangent at P. दोनों बातें हो सकती हैं. Gradient of a curve at any point or gradient of the tangent at that point both mean the same thing. So what about M of normal at P? How do I find the gradient of the normal at P? Normal is what? It is perpendicular, negative reciprocate minus 4 over 3. I already have the coordinates y minus y1 is equals to m bracket x minus x1. This is the equation of the normal. Now it cuts the x-axis at q. So क्या मतलब है q का y coordinate is 0. 0 minus 5 is equals to minus 4 over 3 x minus 1. So what is the answer? Minus 15 is equals to minus 4x plus 4. Minus 19 of the x is 19 upon 4. So the coordinates of q are 19 upon 4, which is 4 whole number 3 upon 4, comma 0. A point is moving along the curve in such a way that the x coordinate is increasing at a constant rate of this. So what is this? First sentence, so what do you extract out? What is the question? Dx upon dt is 0.3. And the question is asking dy upon dt when x is 1. How do I find dy upon dt from the two derivatives? I'll say dy upon dx into dx over dt. कहीं से नहीं आ रहा है ऐसे गलती से. dy upon dx is, we already know dy upon dx. नहीं, x is equals to 1 पे ही मांग रहा है ना. Okay, so that is 3 over 4. Find the x is equals to 1. X की value 1 पे 3 over 4 था. dx upon dt is 0.3. So dy upon dt is 0.9 upon 4, which is 9 over 40. Decimal में कर लो इसको. 0.9 upon 4. What are you getting? Calculator में बताओ. 225. 225. So this is your dy upon dt or rate of change of y.